for Mother Mother. So you guys just got in from Vancouver, so welcome to Toronto.
Thank you.
So how's it going
here?
How's it going so far?
Great. I mean, we got in last night at, I think I got to the hotel at around 11:30 midnight, so we really didn't have a whole lot of time to do much. I went out and had a glass of wine. That was lovely.
Nice.
And then I went to bed. So that's basically what brings us to today.
All right, well, you spoke with a music blog, back in December 2012, shortly after releasing your album, The Sticks. So what has the band been up to since then?
Since December 2012, we have been touring, a lot of touring. We went to the States, we toured with AMBY Nation for 2 months, and that was awesome, amazing. And then we've just been doing our festivals, which has been great too, yeah.
So now that you've had some time to look back and kind of reflect on The Sticks, is there anything about the album that you wish you could go back and change?
I think there's always things that you would change, but at the same time, I think I'm comfortable now with just really accepting. It took me a long time with albums and sort of hearing myself recorded to feel like I could just accept it. And I think I'm finally at a place where I just accept it, and it's beautiful the way it is, because that's the way it happened.
Right.
And I'm glad that it did. And I think the further and further you get away from a release date, the easier it is to actually go back and listen and actually appreciate it. I mean, unless something awful happened and you really hated it, but I loved it from day one, so I think I'm loving it more and more actually. So I would say no, there's nothing I would change. Nothing at all.
How do you feel about people calling it a concept album?
Oh, it kind of is in a way. It is and it isn't. I guess with Ryan's writing, he really started to do that theme sort of came out, but I don't think it was intentional. I think he just, in that time that he was writing those tunes, it just, this sort of theme of the sticks and getting back to the natural states and leaving the city and that type of thing was just sort of on his mind. So it was a very natural thing that it became a sort of a concept. And I guess it's less of a concept album as it is just there's sort of some continuity with that theme. It's not as it's not a heavy concept album. It's concept light.
Right. Well, the animated video for the song The Sticks, it has like a strong environmentalist, apocalyptic vibe almost going on. Mm-hmm. So is there a specific message you'd like people to walk away with after watching that video that you'd like them to walk away with, or just is it open to interpretation?
Oh, I think it's very open to interpretation. And we didn't give any direction for that video at all. Chad Van Galen just took the song and just, we kind of told him about the record and stuff. Right. So, but he really had complete artistic free reign, and that's what he made. So it's open to our interpretation and to everyone's interpretation, really. But I think everyone can kind of relate to that feeling, especially people who live in the city and who work in the city and who spend a lot of time in busy places. You can really relate to that. Maybe not everyone. I know there are some people who love it and thrive on it, but I know for me, I totally understand the feeling of just really wanting to get away from it all and going and living out in the woods with no electricity and no phone and no TV, and it would be probably kind of torture, but also kind of beautiful.
Right. So being from Vancouver, that probably had a strong influence on how you approach your songwriting and the themes of it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I can't really talk much about that because Ryan writes the songs.
Right.
So I think I can speak a little bit about Ryan's songwriting in that I think he feels, now I'm totally putting words in his mouth, but I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna talk about it anyway. He's told me many times that he doesn't really draw from environment or experience specifically as much as people might think. He is more like a storyteller, like an imaginative storyteller. So these concepts just kind of come to him. I'm sure he's influenced in ways, but it's not a first person. He's not really a first person type of writer in a lot of ways. A lot of it is him just thinking of something and then sort of deriving the story based around that thought. So it's not necessarily like, he wrote Dirty Town because he grew up in a dirty town. Right. So that's about all I can say about that.
How do you feel about your songs being used in commercials? Like, I know Bright Idea was used by Kraft.
Right. Well, Bright Idea was written for Kraft.
Oh, okay.
So
there's a bit of a difference then, right?
Yes, yeah. They didn't just phone us, and we didn't just write Bright Idea and they phoned us up and said, we love that song. They put out a call to find a song to use, and so Ryan wrote the song specifically for that purpose. And I think it's an interesting time where most people I think understand, most people, especially musicians, understand that in this time there isn't a lot of money in the music industry, especially the Canadian music industry. I think that I feel completely fine about it, because I know that when something like that happens, it means we're getting work, which is a means for us to keep doing what we want to be doing, rather than we can't do it anymore because there's no money and, we're all working, serving jobs or whatever. So it really allows people to, get paid to some degree and keep doing what they want to be doing, which is focus on their music and focus on their art and their craft. So as much as back in the 80s and 90s it was sort of looked upon as sort of selling out, and that was a bad thing because it was unartistic, I think now people are starting to shift a little and realize that if you don't sell something, that you're not going to really be able to continue. And that's just kind of the honest truth of it. So when I hear somebody, especially like a friend's band's song on a commercial or see it on TV or in a placement in a movie or something like that, I just feel like, oh, congratulations, that's great. You'll get yourself through the next 6 months or whatever.
Exactly right.
Which is kind of sad, but at the same time, it's fine. It's beautiful because it is.
So in one of your interviews, one of your band members said that in some ways the Styx is like a foil to Eureka. So now that you've worked through that contrast, what direction do you think the band is going to take for their next album?
I think, so a foil as in like a
contrast.
Totally different contrast.
Yeah, kind of like a response to the previous album.
Sure, yeah. I think that we will always do something different on every record. I think that that's kind of who we are as a band, and I think we always want to be sort of twisting and turning, and nothing will ever be what it was before, I don't think. So we've kind of been talking a little bit, obviously it's really early stages, talking about the next record and what we might want to do, and I think we've been throwing around a little bit of ideas of sort of going a little more electronic and yet keeping it very natural and raw and organic and all of that type of thing. But like I said, it's early, but I think every album for us will be a response to the last album in some way. It will be some kind of contrast, and I like that. I like not doing the same thing, yet there's some through lines, obviously. There'll still be tons of harmonies and tons of the things that we love to do, but we like to change it up, be creative in different ways, and yeah.
Alright, so for our last question, what's something about the band that no one yet knows?
See if I have any really good secrets that could be revealed about the band. Well, I cut Ryan's hair. I don't know if nobody knows that though. I think it's kind of
That's
known,
still a good answer.
But I am Ryan's hairstylist.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing the interview. I'm really looking forward to the show tonight.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. It's fun.